In honor of Comedy Central's all-day marathon of The Office on Monday, we thought we'd rank the best sports and sports-ish moments in the history of the classic comedy. I will freely admit, I volunteered for this assignment. Okay, I pitched it not only because The Office is one of my favorite shows, but also because I had a lot of fun doing a best baseball moments in Seinfeld ranking a couple years ago. This time, I not only got help from fellow Sporting News coworkers, but had Team Fag and my family members chip in with their insights and rankings. Good times. More best baseball moments in Seinfeld. It's actually kind of incredible how many sports and sports-related moments are in that show. Here are a couple that didn't even make the top 20, in no particular order: the paper airplane contest, Dwight's bobblehead, Syracuse hoopster Jerry McNamara, and catcher Mike Lieberthal, who played minor league ball in Scranton in 5 different years, Jim being a Philly sports writer in his Second Life avatar. Michael tells Dwight that Jerome Bettis' nickname is the Bus because he's afraid to fly, Pam hitting Meredith with a football, Dwight and Michael playing paintball in Michael's goodbye episode, and so many more. Yeah, you get the point. That's not even an exhaustive list of honorable mentions. Anyway, on to the top 20 sports moments in The Office. Quick note, we only considered actual sports moments for this ranking, not entire episodes. 20. Bets episode, Safety Training Season 3, Episode 19. Office Sports, Kevin's going through a bit of betting withdrawal after the NCAA tournament. It's hard to shake March Madness. You know, Kevin and Jim make the first bet, the over-under on how many people get their arms cut off in warehouse Baylor accidents every year, and it snowballs from there. The entire office gets in on the action. They bet on how many jelly beans are in the bin at Pam's desk. 49. Jim wins. They bet on how long Kelly can talk about how Netflix works. 2 minutes, 42 seconds. Ryan wins and how many times she'll say awesome. 12. Pam wins and how many romantic comedies she'll mention. 6. Jim wins. And they bet on whether Creed will notice when they switch out his apple within potato. He doesn't notice. Toby, Pam, Ryan, Jim and Oscar win. Karen loses everything. Best line, what I do is this: I go online, I go click, 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 and I change the order of the queue so I can see love, actually as soon as I want to. It's so easy. Brian, do you really not know how Netflix works? Kelly 19. Cross-checking Toby episode, Michael's birthday, Season 2, Episode 19. Office Sports, Michael is actually awesome at ice skating, so he steers his birthday party to an ice rink, even though it's under the guise of being concerned for Kevin, who is waiting for the results of a test for skin cancer. Everyone's having fun skating, gingerly, around the rink. Michael comes out in full hockey gear, including pads, a helmet, gloves and a stick. Of course, he checked Toby into the boards at the first opportunity. When Kevin gets the call that his test comes back negative, Michael throws down his gloves, rips off his fake Livestrong bracelet and gives Kevin a big hug, because, of course, he thought that was a bad thing. Oh, Michael. A bonus, during the 2006 NBC Winter Olympics preview, Michael is skating around wearing a Team USA jersey. Naturally, he checks Toby into the boards. Best line, I thought about playing in the NHL, but you're on the road so much. There's no time to spend with your wife and kids. And I really want a wife and kids. Michael 18. Racing Toby episode, The Merger Season 3, Episode 8. Office Sports, Toby walks into the office, and Pam asks how his run the previous day went. Great, Toby says, I finished. Dwight, at the copier, scoffs. Why's that great? They start going back and forth, with Dwight as saying he could do so much better than Toby because he outran a pepper snake the previous weekend. Dwight and Pam go outside for Pam to time Dwight running around the building. She, of course, has no intention of actually timing him. I mean, she brought a digital thermometer, not a stopwatch. 3 more laps to go, she shouts. Got to pick it up if you're going to beat Toby. Then she goes back inside. Best line, I am fast. To give you a reference point, I'm somewhere between a snake and a mongoose. And a panther. Dwight 17. The Dunk episode, The Inner Circle Season 7, Episode 23. Office Sports, Michael has left to join Holly in Colorado. His replacement, Bingella Vickers, played by Will Ferrell, picks his inner circle. That group is in D'Angelo's office, where the new boss is giving a dunking clinic on the tiny hoop hanging on the office door. Gabe calls him Magic Jordan, because Gabe is dumb. Then D'Angelo brags that he can dunk from the free throw line, and Jim suggests he should try it on the real hoop in the warehouse. After they head down to the warehouse, D'Angelo jumps over Kevin to dunk the basketball, but he hangs onto the rim. Right after he shouts, the doctor is in, the hoop comes crashing down on him. Cut to an ambulance taking D'Angelo away. Best line, Jim, today. Now, maybe we have a hoop downstairs and a real ball, so you don't have to mime it. D'Angelo, yeah, I don't know. Jim, why not D'Angelo? Only because no one has called NASA to request a liftoff. 16. Jim Drive J episode, Lice Season 9, Episode 10 Office Sports. The episode opens with Jim, Daryl and Kevin in the lunchroom, talking about the NBA playoffs. Jim thinks his Sixers are going to make it to the conference finals, but Daryl says to watch out for the Knicks and Nets. Then Jim is working with his company in Philly, and he has what he tells Pam is an important meeting. That's technically true, but the meeting is with basketball legend Dr. J, one of Jim's personal heroes. They shoot around on Dr. J's private court, and the legend offers Jim a pair of Japanese Nikes. While he's living out a childhood dream, at one point, Drive J recreates his famous under-the-basket reverse layup against the Lakers, with Jim playing Kareem Abdul-Jabbar. Pam is dealing with the fallout of giving everyone in the office lice. Good times, best line, wow. Halpert's got game, Dr. J. 15. Great Scott quote episode, Michael Scott Paper Company Season 5, Episode 23 Office Sports. Okay, so technically there aren't any sporting events in this episode, but any mention of Wayne Gretzky is good enough for us. It's the first day of the Michael Scott Paper Company, and Michael wants an inspirational quote for the whiteboard in his new office closet. This is on the board throughout the episode, in big letters. You miss 100% of the shots you don't take, Michael Scott. And, of course, in really small letters, the guy who actually said that, Wayne Gretzky. Best line, I can't relax in the same corner where I work, Michael. In the words of Wayne Gretzky through Michael Scott. pic.twitter.com/cooler. Write Godazaway at Gazaway Talk December 31, 2017. 14. Soccer Oops episode, Dream Team Season 5, Episode 22 Office Sports. As the office tries to suck up to the new boss, Stringer Bell, Charles Minor. Remember, Michael quit and started the Michael Scott Paper Company in the previous episode. Everyone pretends to love soccer as much as Charles. Jim says he's more of a player than a fan. Oops. At Dwight's urging, Charles sets up a soccer game in the parking lot. During the game, Charles launches the ball at Jim, who ducks. The ball smashes into Phyllis' face. I swallowed a crown, and somehow, Jim is blamed for ducking more than Charles is blamed for launching the ball during a friendly. Best line, my strategy is to touch the ball as little as possible and chalk it up to teamwork. Jim 13. Volleyball surprise episode, Company Picnic Season 5, Episode 28 Office Sports. Pam, suddenly, is awesome at volleyball. It's a frustratingly inconsistent out-of-the-blue character addition, but that's not the point. At the company picnic, the Scranton team blitzes through a couple rounds thanks to Pam's dynamic serve, Jim's play at the net and Dwight's coaching. They meet the corporate team in the finals. When Pam tweaks her ankle, Jim takes her to the hospital. Charles insists, and Dwight tries to stall the game until they can return, with Jim providing updates on the phone. They don't come back once Pam and Jim find out she's pregnant. Best line, hey, Dwight. Send in the subs, Jim 12. All the Clovers episode, Casino Night Season 2, Episode 22 Office Sports. In the Season 2 finale, Michael organizes a casino night to raise money for charity. Well, focus on the No Limit Hold'em, considering poker has been a staple on ESPN for a long time now. Michael goes all in on the first hand, with awful cards, and Toby calls the bluff, knocking out and infuriating Michael. Jim tricks Dwight with a fake tell he coughs, and Dwight folds. Pam takes Jim out with a straight, beating Jim's 3 nines. Kevin wears his World Series of Poker winning bracelet. He won the $2,500 No Limit 2-7 draw title in Vegas, but goes all in with 3 queens and gets bumped out by Phyllis, who calls him with what she thinks is just an ace. Instead, Kevin is knocked out by Phyllis' flush. Look, I have all the Clovers, she says. Oh, also, Pam and Jim kiss for the first time at the end of the episode. Best line, I don't really play cards, but I'm not going to lie to you, it felt really good to take money from Michael. I'm going to chase that feeling. Toby 11. Sumo Stanley episode, Beach Games Season 3, Episode 23 Office Sports. Michael uses Beach Games challenges, competitions to help pick his potential successor from the group of Jim, Dwight, Andy and Stanley. He thinks he's getting a corporate job. The first event is a race, where one contestant carries an egg with a spoon while blindfolded and their partner shouts directions. It doesn't go well. Shocker. Right then, there's a hot dog eating contest, after Creed catches a fish with his bare hands and eats it raw, but nobody really wants to participate. So Michael tells everyone the true reason for these contests. Even with the motivation, there are no Joey Chestnuts in the group. When it comes to the sumo contests, with the contestants wearing giant sumo suits, Stanley decides he doesn't want to work for anyone else. I would rather work for an upturned broom with a bucket for a head than work for somebody else in this office besides myself. Game on. So he charges, screaming with wild, evil eyes, and scares Jim out of the circle without much more than a nudge. It's easily the most worked up we ever see Stanley. Andy falls into the lake wearing his sumo suit, as Angela just watches him drift away. Best line, "Oh my god. I have never seen that look in a man's eyes. Ever. I thought that I might, on beach day." Jim Moore, worst sports of all time, ranked 10. Flippity flip episode, Goodbye, Michael season 7, episode 22 Office Sports. Michael is saying his office goodbyes before moving to Colorado. He wants to leave the warehouse with one final bucket. "Catch you guys on the flippity flip," he says as he tries to make a no-look, over-the-shoulder basket. He misses, again and again and again and again. Best line, really, Michael, when he finally makes the shot. 9. Midnight Hockey episode, Threat Level Midnight season 7, episode 17 Office Sports. Michael finally screens his long-anticipated, Threat Level Midnight, at the office. It's pure Michael Scott, which means it's goofy. But it also showcases the one athletic thing he's actually good at, ice skating, hockey. Michael plays Agent Michael Scarn, who has apparently saved the NFL, MLB and NBA All-Star games but let evil dudes blow up the WNBA contest, the jerk, according to newspaper headlines. Goldface, his arch-enemy, has hostages at the NHL All-Star Game. They're held in a basement with curling stones and plans to blow up the stadium for the insurance money of his partner, the President of the United States. Scarn learns to play hockey, speed skating is one of the challenges, and makes it into the game, eventually slapping the puck into space during the contest and saving the day. Also, he blows Goldface up in the process. Best line, you meet new friends, tie that yarn, and that's how you do the Scarn, Michael, as Michael Scarnate. Ping Pong Passion episode, The Deposition season 4, episode 12 Office Sports. The warehouse adds a ping pong table. Jim and Daryl play a lot of ping pong, and Kelly, who is dating Daryl, talks a lot of smack at Pam. Not trash talk, Kelly points out, but smack. So Pam sets up a makeshift table in the conference room so Jim can practice. He takes down opponent after opponent, until Dwight, who is secretly awesome, crushes him. He has gone from completely hopeless to simply miserable. Daryl dismantles Jim in the rematch, so Pam challenges Kelly to a game. Both are awful, can't even finish the pong to decide who serves first. Best lines, Kelly, talking smack to Pam, "What has two skinny chicken legs and sucks at ping pong? Your boyfriend is so weak he needs steroids just to watch baseball." Jim couldn't hit a ping pong ball if it was the size of the moon. Were Jim's parents first cousins that were also bad at ping pong. 7. On the Lynx episode, Job Fair season 4, episode 17 Office Sports, Jim has decided he actually wants to take the job seriously, and that means putting a hard sell on a client, Phil McGuire. The setting is a golf course, along with Andy and Kevin. Andy hit so many golf balls in practice the night before that his hands are blistered beyond belief. Kevin's goal is to win lots of money betting on the round. "What are we talking?" he asks the client. Skins AC Doocy Bingo Bongo Bongo Sandy's Barkies Arnie's Wolfwood. In the end, Andy crashes the golf cart, Kevin wins money, Jim gets the sale, and Phil needs 6 shots to get out of the sand trap. Oh, and Michael takes the basketball away from Oscar at the high school job fair. Pop a shot, kicking it across the gym. Best line, hit about 1,200 balls last night in preparation for today, so hands are a little tender. It's actually not funny at all. It's incredibly painful. Andy 6. Run Like the Wind episode, The Duel season 5, episode 12 Office Sports. Yeah, maybe this is stretching again. Let's call it a form of motorsports. The department puts a radar gun in front of the office after Angela called to complain about people speeding past. The challenge became to see who was the fastest runner in the office. Michael posts at 12 miles per hour before getting beaten by Dwight's 13 miles per hour. After claiming Dwight's time was wind-aided, Michael jumps in front of Oscar to run again. It just so happens that a car passes him at the same time, and the radar registers 31 miles per hour. Michael, of course, claims this as his new number. Best line, 12 miles an hour. Eat that, Carl Lewis. Michael 5. Parkour episode, Gossip season 6, episode 1 Office Sports. In the opening scene of the first episode of the 6th season, Michael, Dwight and Andy run around the office yelling parkour, bouncing off, jumping off, on and running into pretty much everything. Their version looks nothing like the clip Jim shows the camera, explaining that parkour is the internet sensation of 2004. The scene ends with Andy jumping off a delivery truck and disappearing into what he didn't realize was an empty refrigerator box. Best line: the goal is to get from point A to point B as creatively as possible, so technically they are doing parkour, as long as point A is the illusion and point B is the hospital. Jim 4. Assistant to the Sensei episode, The Fight Season 2, Episode 6 Office Sports. Dwight brings his karate purple belt to the office, so of course Jim steals it before asking Dwight if he could beat Michael up. Michael scoffs, then taunts Dwight about crying during the Armageddon. Michael basically dares Dwight to punch him in the stomach. Dwight does, to defend his honor, with a right-left combo. The ensuing trash talk results in the entire office going to Dwight's dojo for a fight during an extended lunch hour. With Sensei Ira serving as referee, the match quickly devolves into chaos and winds up with Michael suspending a loogie over Dwight's head. Michael wins, but nobody really wins. Best line: would I rather be feared or loved? Easy. Both. I want people to be afraid of how much they love me, and I think I proved that today at the dojo. Michael 3. Office Olympics episode, Office Olympics Season 2, Episode 3 Office Sports. With Michael and Dwight away for the closing on Michael's condo, Jim finds out about Hateball, the paper football flicking game that Oscar and Kevin play and Angela hates, and Dunderball, the game Toby plays in the annex. So, Jim decides to organize the Office Olympics, with the help of Pam. Phyllis wins Flonkerton and Kevin wins who can fit the most M&Ms in their mouth. Oscar and Toby are racing to win the laps around the office with a full cup of coffee contest when Michael and Dwight return and everyone goes back to work. Jim and Pam set up the closing ceremonies for 5 p.m., and Jim gives Michael the gold medal for closing on his condo. Michael is confused, but people are clapping for him, which makes him incredibly happy. Best line: it was very nice of Pam to make them, but what am I going to do with a gold medal made of paper clips and an old yogurt lid? Ryan 2. Warehouse Hoops episode, Basketball Season 1, Episode 5 Office Sports. Michael, who is awful at basketball, sets up a game between the warehouse crew and the upstairs workers. The winners get Saturday off, the losers have to work the weekend. Trash talk ensues. Shots are made not by Michael. Tempers flare, mostly as Jim and Roy battle on the court and for the heart of Pam. After asking the score and finding out his team is winning, Michael abruptly ends the game when he catches a grazing blow to the head from an inadvertent elbow. The warehouse guys don't like that, and Michael backs down. The beauty of this episode: the basketball action is realistic. Some players stink, some are decent, some ugly-looking shots are made. Most of the ugly-looking shots missed. Best line: I'm getting paid to skip lunch, right? Ryan Howard 1. 5K for Rabies episode, Fun Run Season 4, Episode 1 Office Sports. Michael hits Meredith with his car in the parking lot. While she's in the hospital for a fractured pelvis, she's given precautionary shots for rabies because of the Bat in the Office incident in Season 3. In typical Michael fashion, he overreacts and organizes a 5K to raise money for rabies with the Michael Scott's Dunder Mifflin Scranton Meredith Palmer Memorial Celebrity Rabies Awareness Pro-Am Fun Run Race for the Cure. It's not raising money for a cure, mind you, but to raise awareness that there already is a cure for rabies. Yep. There are so many great moments in this one. Andy drafting off Kevin and his subsequent nipple chafing, picking a finish line 5 kilometers away from the office, instead of a loop. Toby winning the race because Dwight slips him Imodium instead of X-Lax. Michael carbo loading with fettuccine Alfredo right before the race, then paying that price while I eventually puked my guts out, I never puked my heart out, and winding up in the hospital next to Meredith, Stanley, Oscar and Creed going for drinks, then taking a cab to the end of the race and Pam walking in on Michael changing ID. I didn't see where it started, but I saw where it ended. In non-race developments, Jim and Pam are outed as a couple by the documentary crew and Dwight S. Angela's cat, effectively ending their relationship. Big season opening episode. Best line: I'm not superstitious but I am a little studious. Michael.